Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chad. That's Kent. Today we're talking a little bit more about our new $500 financial plan. Some of what we've learned since launching it. Some of the things that we've seen. If any of these ring true to you once you hear it, please fire us an email. We'd be happy to help and get you your own $500 financial plan. But without further ado, let's get into it, Kent.
Okay, and yeah, before we get started, some good news on the K4 front. I mean, well, hopefully good news for Chad is today. Chad is a partner in K4. Super happy that it's worked out so well so far. Love having him. He's an incredible planner, and I'm just so happy with, you know, all of the positive feedback I get from people, because it was tough for me to be the face of the channel and then find somebody that people were like, well, I wanted to talk to Kent. And I'm like, Chad's better than I am. I mean, I'm just a slow talking dude that had an idea a while ago. So welcome even more into K4. I don't even know what to say.
No, I appreciate it. I'm excited about it. I've been here just over a year now. We were actually planning to shoot a 1-year anniversary video, but with the launch of the $500 financial plan, we've just been way too busy.
Right.
Which is a great problem to have. Our business is expanding. So anyways,
Totally.
We have 9 different groups of people here that we've identified as great fits for the $500 financial plan. We've seen all of these in the as of the filming of this, it's 59 days ago, we launched our first video for the $500 plan. We've had 67 people reach out in those 59 days, which again, it's great. We've seen some very different cases. We're going to talk about that. Kent, who is the first person we listed as a great fit for the plan?
The first one, there's no particular order here, but one really good one is a DIY double check. You know, there are a lot of people out there that are good at investing their own money, or have found a robo-advisor that they like, or whatever. And the investment part of it, they've got it handled. We can take a look at it and say, you know, if we see big problems, we'll be like, I don't like that part of it, but otherwise, good work. Now we're checking sort of the investments, but also, is the retirement plan you think that you have going to work? And sometimes it's almost as easy as being like, you had it. And other times it's like, here's a few tweaks. You know, usually we'll find like a couple things, but it's not like this was going to break your retirement plan, right? Like, it's just like, let's say, okay, thank you very much. Here's a little report. Go on your merry way. If you need us in 3, 4, 5 years, come back. That's simple as that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, to each of those people, we still offer, like, if you really want us in your corner, you can still pay K4 to be your like financial planning subscription, which is something we're going to talk about more in the future. That's our new revenue model that we're going to be launching officially in the next couple of months. So we still have opportunities for them to have us in their corner if they want that.
Right.
Kind of a subset group of the DIY double check, so to speak, and it's not so much DIY, but it's people with defined benefit pensions as either the only retirement income besides CPP and OAS, or it's the majority of their retirement. The reality is most financial institutions right now are not looking at new clients who have less than $500,000. In some institutions, it's $1 million. So the reality is, like, if you're retiring with a defined benefit pension that may in fact be worth $1 million
or more, a lot more, right?
Or a lot more.
Yeah,
you've been ignored by these financial institutions, which I think is ridiculous. And so, like, we have lots of people who are coming to us. We have 2 defined benefits. We just want to understand, like, what will our retirement income look like? Will that be enough? Like, we have maybe 50, 100, 200,000 off to the side. Like, is that enough? Or will I even touch it? Like, whatever that scenario is. So defined benefit pensioners out there, this would be a great option for you as well.
Yeah, and making the choices of the pension, like, okay, let's talk
Yeah, good
about your
point.
pension options and then say which one works best for you guys, just based on your mindset of the future kind of thing.
Mhm.
Just a conversation to help you make those choices. And you're right. Sometimes it's like, yeah, your investments could be better in that, sometimes
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
My favorite one, I get
yeah,
this a lot, and I love this, is like people are like, I am burnt out. We have worked super hard for a really long time. We want to know if we can retire or I can retire. Uh, and then yesterday I had two meetings, two kind of similar cases of people being like, we want to know if we can retire. And in both cases, I was like, you thought you wanted to retire in 2 years. Well, I'm telling you to retire in January. And just the smile of being like,
yeah,
what do you mean? Like, we're ready. And, oh, more than ready.
yeah,
And even with the down market, even with bad projections that I put into the planning software. So I say, like,
yeah.
if this goes poorly, investment wise, you're still fine.
And
Get
you know
out of
what
there.
has like accelerated that population of people? COVID. How
100%.
many people who are 60, 65, 70 are like, I'm done. Like I'm done adapting because every day is a new piece of tech and like it's ridiculous. I'm sick of this.
New management, getting
New
bought out
management.
by a
Yeah.
bigger firm, whatever, because a
Yeah.
lot of mergers and acquisitions going on, big
Yeah.
companies buying up little ones, and they're just like, I can't deal with this anymore. And when I get to have that conversation, it like makes the rest of my day good.
Yeah.
Like every one of them that is good like that, I'm just like smiling for the rest of the day. I love it.
Yeah. Those ones are fun. The next subgroup, not so fun. And this is one where Kent and I had very different expectations as I had none. And we're kind of calling it the advisor check. Um, we've had um, two or three in particular crazy scenarios come our way in terms of what the current financial advisor is doing with the client. And I was not expecting to kind of uncover this like niche need.
Right.
Uh, and I mean, we're not going to talk about the situations now. We will like I'm planning a video probably in the next month and a half. But of course, we want to prioritize getting the client sorted out first, so that that gets taken care of before we shoot the video. But if you have a bit like any inclination that your advisor is not being totally transparent, if he or she is not doing what's in your true best interest, is $500 not worth having someone like me when it comes to like this kind of thing? I'm like a dog with a bone. Like
It's the best.
I
I
get
was
super riled up about it.
When I showed Sean and Joaquin the video you sent me after you first found out what was happening. Chad saw the craziest case
Yeah.
I've ever even heard of.
Yeah.
And I was, oh my God. And every day it's getting a little bit weirder as we're sort of putting sort of the pressure on. Well, Chad is putting the pressure on this guy, but I was like, oh my God, I love when Chad gets fired up like that. It was, and now you're just like in the zone, like, yes, because I love it too.
Yeah.
It sucks for the client because they're like, it's very sad. People don't want to know
It's
that almost because
yeah,
you're like, I feel like an idiot or whatever. No, it's like,
absolutely not.
how are you supposed to know? So
Yeah.
um, and it's fun, but it's sad because you know that it's upsetting to tell them.
That
Yeah,
meeting was awful, like the first one for me, but I also know that like the eventual outcome is going to be good.
right. And so
But
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that one I can't wait for you to write it all out and tell the story because it's crazy.
Well, in that video that's coming up, just like whatever, teaser, whatever, I'm actually going to walk through the exact math process that is laid out for financial planners that we're supposed to follow in order for making recommendations. And you're going to see like just how offside this recommendation was. It's going to be a super technical video, more than you know.
Right.
Anyways, what's next on your list there?
This is a big one. Obviously CPP, OAS timing, withdrawal order. Huge kind of need, especially if you're borderline in your retirement, and it's kind of like these decisions really matter.
Yeah.
Then yeah, okay, let's talk through it based on your whole situation, and find it. And in some cases it's easy, and I'm like, okay, just do this, this, and this. And in other cases it's like, you literally, and we both of us have had these conversations a few times, and so with the subscription model, we're just like, you guys need us for 6 years, for example, like,
Yeah.
whenever, right? These decisions are coming up. It's sort of, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but this is your 60s to 70s is like, in financial planning is like actually where you need your physician the most, you know, because it's like, let's do this. We have to have check-ins at least twice a year to make sure we're on this path, we're making these right decisions. And in other cases it's very easy, and it's like, come check back in 3 years, here's yours, like,
Yeah.
sort of very stable sort of thing. So showing you the order, and sometimes it's like, we're going to tell you that you should probably use us or somebody else to help you implement this order.
Right.
So it's a big one.
Yeah, for sure. And that's always people's first question, really.
Yeah.
I find at the very least.
Me too. Yeah.
Next one, I think we're on number 6, is someone just looking to lower their fees. And I guess kind of part of like even the advisor check is people are becoming more and more aware, right? Like there's more and more information out there. Maybe you're becoming aware that you're paying high fees, and that's the motivating factor, or you don't even know what you're paying, whatever it is. But we've always been historically like a lower fee option. That's kind of our whole deal.
Right. That's why I started the company in the first place. Right.
Exactly. Our new subscription model, which again, there's gonna be lots of detail coming out on it. We're going to like we're going to blow everybody out of the water. Like one of the objectives of it is that we want to be disruptive. We will disrupt. And
right.
like people will save, like we are saving people thousands of dollars to move to us. Yeah. And it's awesome.
And we get to make a good living still. So that just shows you how overpaid a lot of advisors are. One of the ones yesterday, so 2 were identical, but one of the ones was like, you're a good DIY investor, go on your merry way. And the other one was like, can we look at our investments? And I said, yeah, sure. Oh, you're paying 3%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To some, and they're like, they don't call us anymore. And that's like, because I'm like, well, because they made 5% off the top and now they don't care.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, can we move this? Can you help? Yes, of course. We'll lower your fees, give you advice, help you, blah, blah, blah. And they're happy to do that. Are we going to win investment wise when their fees went from 3% in this particular case to 1.08 is what they're going to be paying in total? I don't know, but I know that you're saving $8,000 a year. So you should probably do better, because you still have an extra $8,000 that's invested. It's as simple as that. And we're giving you advice. So sometimes it's just too easy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, stop paying 3%.
Yeah. Oh, that was me. That now it's you.
Oh yeah, I went on too much of a tangent. I snapped there a little bit. You know, and Like, well, he doesn't call us anymore. Yeah, because he made 15 grand 5 years ago, and now he makes $10 a year to service
Yeah.
your account.
Anyways,
Yeah, okay, I'll move on. Sorry.
thank you.
So I've had a few of these and I really like them. Sort of people in their 20s, they've got a job, they're saving, they've got a couple of plans, they've got ideas for life. And I'm like, okay, here, let's just chat for a little bit. I mean, even in this case, 500 seems aggressive because it's like you're, but we'll save them more than 500 just by showing them the way, right? So it's
Yep.
valuable. I like it. It's like, here, do these things, invest over here, invest in your TFSA, pay off this debt, whatever. And
Yeah.
what I thought, we don't get a ton of younger people because our audience on YouTube is, generally between 55 and 70 is sort of the main demographic we have.
Yeah.
But we thought Christmas is coming up.
Yeah.
Good idea maybe to give a present to your grandchildren, your 20-year-old children, maybe, and Chad will talk about this next, your sort of young family, because there's a big need for not ongoing advice a lot of times for these people, but a solid checkup. And it always comes back to sort of the physician thing, which I love because my dad was a physician. And what I liked about this industry was I didn't have to go to school for 10, 12 years to do it.
Yeah.
And I like the long-term clients, but it's the same. Your age is like, okay, when you're 20, check in. When you're 30, 40, have these big ones. If something is really bad, you got to go to the doctor. Same with us. Pay us the $500, come in, but you don't need to pay us $3,000, whatever, $5,000 a year to just be like, yeah, we're helping you big time. Right?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, Kent, instead of the $500 plan, I pitched the idea of calling it the financial physical.
You did. And Sean did a mock-up of like us in lab coats.
Your idea was
whatever.
better, I'll admit
and
it.
I was like, but I get it. That's what it is.
I'm just joking around. I'm just joking around.
Right.
Like Kent alluded to, like young families are a good fit as well. We've had a few people, and again, like Kent said, like most of our viewers are 55 to 70. So it's not that we have a major demand from there, but those ones are largely just like, am I on track? Like, do I have the right insurance? Am I on track? Are there any tweaks that I need to make? Because I mean, those projections are so much longer, right? Like when it's a retirement plan, like you're a year away, there's one more year, and then bang, it's 30 years of retirement planning. Whereas a young family, it might be like 20 and then 30 years. So it's a very different approach. But yeah, am I on track? Am I doing the right things? Am I putting money in the right places? Things like that.
Yeah.
Definitely
insurance checkup, investment checkup,
mortgage,
debt checkup, RESP sort of things, family planning, getting the will. Like there's a big need for a meeting, every few years for sure. But you don't necessarily need us all the time.
Right.
I kind of feel bad sometimes with like 40-year-old clients, and I'm like, what am I telling you this year? The same thing I told you last year, anyway. But
all right, last but not least, bring us home there, Kent.
Yeah, and this one's kind of niche, and we're not experts totally because there's so much information to know, but a lot of people want to retire away from this hellhole coldness. Like it is freezing here right now. It is so brutal. And people are like, I want to go somewhere warm and cheap. I'm not an expert in cross-border planning, and to be completely honest, I do not want to be. It's hard to maintain the relationship from a perspective. We can't always help with the investments or whatever, but I like running the math and talking to these people about their dream life and saying, this is easily going to work. And something Chad and I have talked about is eventually, and hopefully sooner than later, finding somebody that can be like K4's sort of cross-border specialist, where hopefully we get to a point where, you know, this is your specific niche. Well,
Yeah.
we have an expert for that, because it's hard to know everything in this business.
Yep.
And where we sort of specialize is in that retirement planning for the middle class.
Yep.
That's definitely where I've had the most experience. And then, you know, the kids, 40-year-olds, easy, right? You know, so young families, I like them. We're young families, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and there's tons more, but those are the main ones, I think, right? You know, and what Chad and I are going to do, it's going to be fun, is we're going to start a weekly segment on Friday. We're going to film our case of the week, just maybe the most unique, or sort of not always unique. Maybe this is a really common thing that we see. So, you know, and walk through the details of how it went, and where we helped, and I think it'll help you guys sort of understand your own situations better.
Yeah, and of course, just, I mean, this is probably implied, but like, of course, we would never use someone's name or like anything like that. No identifying factors at all. It would always just be
And we'll always
hypothetical.
ask them beforehand if we can use their story to say, because we see some cool stuff, and sometimes not so cool, and those, you know.
Yeah.
But I like success stories too.
Yeah.
And she will be. We'll sort her out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beauty. Well, I think we're hopping into a meeting. Have a good weekend. I'll see you in 5 minutes.